Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Barton Park for this round 14 NPL Men's New South Wales clash between St George FC and the Western Sydney Wanderers. St George currently in 10th place on 15 points, 3 points outside the top 6. The Western Sydney Wanderers currently bottom of the table. The 3-point deduction they received a couple of weeks ago has pushed them to 16th place. Still, even though that is the situation, they only would have had 8 points for the campaign. Now they drop down to 5, but quite for Cardozo's team as you would have liked. Still a very, very young side. And speaking to the coach of the Western Sydney Wanderers, he did say pre-game that he believes that this may be the youngest team ever to play in the NPL for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Richie Cardozo knows that there's a lot of work to do with this young side. And it doesn't get much tougher than this. St. George, in my perspective, have been one of the best footballing sides in the competition. They've been decimated with injuries from round one, really. And it gets worse for them. Jaden Casella unavailable here this evening. Should be back playing next week. Chan Yelchan also not too far away from a return. Nikola Škatarić, who hasn't enough as well. We'll go through the team lineups as Charbel Geha prepares to get this one underway. The man in the middle, young talented referee for St. George. The home side in goals, number 99 Mackenzie Siren, number 3 Troy Danaskos, number 4 and birthday boy I should say, Mark Rodic, number 5 Nicholas Calageru, number 6 Pat O'Shea, number 8 Evangelo Suris, number 13 Sunday Yona, number 14 Justin Poon, number 15 Bay Antonio, number 16 Caden Wright, and number 27 Jaden Sito. For the Western Sydney Wanderers in goals, number 1 Tristan Vidakovic, number 2 Nathan Barry, number 5 Lachlan Tilt, number 6 Riley Hollingdale, number 8 Nick Badolato, number 9 Alat Abdul Rahman, number 22 Jesse Cameron, number 29 Edmund Haddad, number 31 Aidan Simmons, number 32 Saxon Hillier, and number 38 Noah Peacock. As I said, a very, very special and happy birthday to Mark Rodic. Not so young anymore. Might get upset if I say that. Strong challenge there in the middle of the park, and good advantage played there by Geha. There's a big tackle from O'Shea. Ball played through here. Early chance here for the visitors, and Badolato lifts it a little too high. Works its way through to Cameron, who cuts it back in the box. Peacock drops it off for Hollingdale. Good start from the visitors. 2 red cards the Western Sydney Wanderers received last weekend against Blacktown City. They come in here again through Hollingdale. Great ball back. Haddad has his shot blocked. And a free kick goes the way of the Wanderers. Richie Cardozo will be very, very happy with the start his team has made to this game. And you can hear St. George not happy with the way they've started this game. Both teams coming to this one 3 matches without a win. It's been over a month since St. George tasted victory the last time. And you guessed it, I was on the comms. So I may bring Fabio Micheli a bit of luck here this evening. And that's what he'll be hoping for, that's for sure. The Wanderers have suffered 3 defeats in a row. 8-1 to Rockdale, 1-0 to FA, St. George FA that is, and 4-0 last week against Blacktown. They've got a chance here. Set piece in a fairly good position. Mackenzie Siren will be worried. Struck toward goal, and it wasn't too far over the bar. I think it was Nick Badolato that had the shot. In fact, it was Hollingdale just over the bar. Not sure that Mackenzie Siren would have got there had that been on target. St. George similarly to the Wanderers, 3 games without a win. They did pick up a point though, that one coming in their last outing against Northwest Sydney Spirit, a 2-2 draw. They didn't play last week. Their match against Sydney FC was washed out. That's been rescheduled for a couple of weeks' time. As I said, their last win coming on the 4th of April. Western Sydney's last win coming a week later on the 12th of April against Manly United, a 2-0 victory. And it was somewhat a surprising win as well, considering the form that Manly were in at the time. Speaking to Cardozo pre-game, he did say that he feels his side should have a lot more than what they have at the moment. They've been dominating 3 games, but the rest, they've been in the fixture. Shot here. The tough one to hit from Sudis, was facing backward somewhat. Couldn't really get the proper swing at the ball that he would have liked. Ball falls here for O'Shea. Too short of a pass for Yona, who put the pressure on Barry. Simmons back for Barry again. Now Vidakovic. Mentioned that St. George is missing a key number of players. Jaden Casella has been absolutely phenomenal for St. George this season, and it'll be interesting to see how they cover the loss of him. Yona there just dropping out while pressing. Wright plays the ball back, and St. George will restart once more. Sito back for Rodic, who just took a little longer on the ball there. Fresh cut for the birthday as well, Mark Rodic. Probably preparing to hit the Ivy post game. Known very well for his dance moves, that part of the city. Ball played forward now. Poon was claiming he was pulled back, but Geha wasn't interested. As Vidakovic sends that long, makes a tumble as well. Did rain pre-game, maybe 45 minutes before kickoff. Not a heavy downpour, but enough to make the pitch a little slicker. Considering the amount of football that's been played here at Barton Park already this season, the field is holding up fairly well. It's the second game of the round. St. George looked to create something here, cleared away by Hollingdale. O'Shea, good pass forward, gets through to Yona, who turns and faces toward goal. Shot deflected, it'll be a corner, the first of the evening for the home team. As I said, 2 games kicking off round 14. Manly United host Rockdale Illingdon at Cromer Park this evening. And just watch this corner before we run through the rest of the round. The ball comes in, good ball toward the near post. Headed away by Cameron. Comes the way of St. George again. It's Antonio, who's been in some form this year. Scoring at will by Antonio. Tomorrow the action continues. Mount Druitt take on Sutherland. A battle of 2 teams somewhat struggling this year. Mount Druitt currently in 14th place. Sutherland just above them. Sydney Olympic take on Sydney United. Those two took part in a Hahn Australia Cup Classic midweek, where Sydney United came through after a penalty shootout where the goalkeepers got involved. Olympic keeper missing his spot kick and ending Olympics' hopes of a Australia Cup appearance. Sydney United become known as Cup specialists over the years. Continue their foray into the Australia Cup, and what a ball by Danaskos for Yona. Yona looking to turn. Closed down by a couple. Bay has a shot there, Antonio, and forces the keeper into a save. Vidakovic called in, had to make sure of that one. It was probably going wide. Keeper didn't want to take any chances. Marconi host the Wollongong Wolves tomorrow at 7 p.m. And the final game on Saturday night, St. George FA host Apia Leichhardt. Cross comes in, testing one for the keeper again, but punched out well. Now maybe the Wanderers can break here. They've managed to get the ball out. They got numbers forward as well. It's 5-3 here. Hollingdale the target, but well read there by Sito, who looks to release Antonio early. Headed away by Simmons. And the Wanderers regain possession again. 2 games on Sunday in round 14. Blacktown City host Sydney FC, and the Mariners welcome Northwest Sydney Spirits. Danaskos wins that ball there. He plays it forward now, looking for Poon. Comes in place of Casella. They've really had a lot of issues in the front third, St. George, in terms of personnel. Losing Chen Yelchan very early on in the season. Škatarić obviously coming back from that ACL injury. And then Casella last week. Here is a chance now, though, for the Wanderers. It's Haddad. He wins the corner. If I'm not mistaken, that is the first of the night for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Can they put Mackenzie Siren under some pressure now? Pressure around Siren, and it's a good ball in. It's really testing. Abdul Rahman back out wide for Hollingdale, but heavy touch there. Allowed Antonio to steal in. Yona, nice pass forward, and Caden Wright looking to release Poon, but the ball just slightly rolled over the top of his foot. Didn't quite get the connection on that he would have liked. Nice turn there by Badolato to release Simmons, and challenge came in. It had to be perfect from Kalajeru. The Wanderers get the ball again. I said, a bright start for Richie Cardozo's team. Yona putting on the press, has the pace. Like I said, Sunday Yona presents a lot of quality, technical ability, and incredibly fast. Just is always lacked in that department of finishing opportunities. Tough run of fixtures away. St. George, they got a difficult away trip next Friday night to Manly. As Yona now looking to exploit his pace. 1-on-1. What can Sunday Yona do? Well defended, but a strong challenge there, and Saxon Hillier could be in trouble. Yellow card. It was a 50-50 chance there for both players to fly in. It looked as though Hillier may have come in studs up, but both players went in hard. Probably the right decision from Gerhard. Yona should have done better to beat Hillier in the first instance anyway. 1-on-1 with the pace he possesses. It was good defending from the Wanderers player. Again, though, you got to question the reaction from his teammates. made the original challenge, and Danaskos again was first to the ball before any of his teammates were. Antonio will take the set piece now for St. George. Ball whipped in, it's a poor ball in, but it might work out. Cleared away in the end by the Wanderers. And Caden Wright gets there first. He's Cito. Caden Wright, unbelievable technical player. Here he is now running at the Wanderers' defence. Poor pass there. Cito, Wright was back to win the ball back as Rodic spreads it wide for Kalajeru. Cito, nice football again from St. George, moving the ball one touch. Yona started making the run but then pulled back. Danaskos had already put his head down and made the decision to play the ball in the space, but Yona had just checked back for a moment. Vidakovic for tilt. I said a rough run of games coming for St. George. Manly away on Friday night, and then Sydney Olympic here. They got a tough away game against Rockdale. So 3 games will be very testing for Fabian Michelli's team. Here's Cameron. Feeds in Haddad. Chance there, and it's a goal. The opening goal. Alat Abdul Rahman through the legs of Mackenzie Siren. And the visitors will lead here at Barton Park. It was nice football, a nice ball played in by Haddad. And Abdul Rahman doing the rest with a neat finish in between Mackenzie Siren's legs. A perfect start for Richie Cardozo's team. They definitely started the game the better of the two teams. Rewarded for that start with a goal in it. The funny thing is, St. George probably just started to get into the game. The visitors definitely started the better. St. George slowly started to get on the ball. And a punish there by the Wanderers. Wanderers have a run of games where they will need to pick up points. Relegation, a serious threat for them. And they travel to the Mariners next week. They're on the road again the following weekend against Mount Druitt. They then welcome Sydney Olympic and travel to Sutherland. All teams around them on the ladder, aside from Sydney Olympic. They'll feel they can pick up some points and start to get out of that area there, the danger zone as they call it. Rodic for O'Shea. Quick touches again from St. George. Caden Wright picks it up. Well defended though. And Rodic could be in trouble here. Ball falls for Peacock. Great challenge from Rodic. It was a poor touch from Peacock. Didn't quite work out for him. Should have done better there. Here he is again. Nice play, ball forward now. Shot across goal, and it's 2-0. As easy as you like. Abdul Rahman becomes the assist there for Edmund Haddad. It was the opposite only 3 minutes ago. This time, Abdul Rahman puts it on a platter for Edmund Haddad. And the Western Sydney Wanderers have doubled their lead here in the 18th minute. 2 goals in 3 minutes. They've got it all to do now, the home side. They didn't expect this. How will St. George respond? They're usually the side that's let lead slip in the past. Led early. They haven't been able to finish games off, but they've got to show some character here. As I said, a bit of bad form for them. They've been so stretched. Speaking to Micheli pre-game, said that they have 7 players out, and they've had that number, sometimes more than that, in previous games. And it seems as though he's starting to catch up with them now. Foul there on Suris. The ideal start for Richie Cardozo's team. Noah Peacock as well involved in that goal. A nice ball forward for Abdul Rahman. But Donato couldn't bring that under control. O'Shea. Now Rodic. Sito. How high the Wanderers are stepping up as well. Right. That could be a yellow card there on Jesse Cameron. It was very obvious what he was trying to do there, Jesse Cameron. I'm surprised that Gerhard didn't bring out the yellow card. I'm sure the next foul he'll see a booking as Yonut looks to get St. George back in the game. Poor pass there for Antonio. Here's Peacock. Pass intercepted. Hollingdale stops on the ball and spreads it wide for Cameron. On the bench, St. George have Aidan O'Shea, Thomas Dunn, Matthew Brewster, Kota Toyuka and Hassan Kamberovic, as well as reserve keeper Daniel Axford. Kalajeru. Western Sydney Wanderers, Dallo Sandy, Luka Knežević, Lucas Sinot, Lachlan Henderson, Julian Trop and Meliworth Nkomo. And really struggling at the back, St. George, and Siren, that ball just wouldn't bounce in the area. In the end, on the line, gathering it and pulling it into the box. Antonio for Yona. Yona loses possession but recovers well. Rodic back to Siren. Haven't played their free-flowing stuff as yet, St. George. And a lot of that's down to the Wanderers not really allowing them to get into their rhythm. Holding more of the possession for starters. That's a foul there, I thought, by Abdul Rahman. He's coming high there as well, and Peacock's let fly there from distance. St. George not happy they didn't get the call then. I have to say I might agree with them, in particular with the first. Abdul Rahman had no eyes for the ball, and even the second it seemed as though he really lashed at that ball, but Geha says no foul. Haddad and Danaskos pushing about off the ball. Danaskos slotting into midfield now. Caden Wright pulls out wide. Try and create that overload in the centre of the park. Siren, good ball for Wright. Gets beyond Haddad. Now driving forward, Wright, not many options for him, has to go on his own and loses possession. Kuhn wasn't really a target there, had to take it on his own. Caden Wright. Here's Simmons. Well back for Vidakovic. Oh, confident footwork there from the goalkeeper. Two St. George players around him. Took it in between both. Peacock was offside there. He's offside now. And they're going to pull it back for the free kick, but I think Peacock was offside when the ball was played anyway. The first time. They are bringing it back for the handball. Free kick played for the Wanderers. Past the halfway mark of this first half, and the visitors are well in control here. Here's Poon. Nice turn, but watched all the way by Tilt. Here's Poon. Suris. Usually very involved, Evangelo Suris, but not so far this evening. As I said, not really playing their free-flowing stuff at the moment, St. George. Unable to get key players like Suris involved. O'Shea heads it on. Tilt away toward Peacock. And too easy there from Peacock. Cito comfortably got the ball off him. Here's the Naskos now. Square pass from Cito for Kalajeru. As soon as that ball goes to the right or left central defender, Wanderers are triggered and they push in the press immediately, and more times than not they've come away with the ball, as they have here. Just that last pass there let them down. Rodic wide for Danaskos. Poor pass from the captain. Now Hollingdale takes it forward. Runs come now. Good pass to Walls. Thought it was a good pass to Abdul Rahman for a moment. Cleared away. Barry all the way back to Vidakovic. Flicked on here for Poon. Releases Yona. Good tackle though from Aidan Simmons. Rockdale lead at Cromer Park 1-0. 4th minute goal there. Here's Yona. Can St. George grab something before the half and go into the break with a bit of confidence? They've really struggled so far. Aidan O'Shea just returning from injury on the bench. Thomas Dunn scored a couple goals. The rest a very, very young bench that St. George have. Not many attacking options either, so a lot to think about for the St. George coaching staff. Tilt finds Hollingdale. Look how much space Hollingdale's had. Just able to pick his passes. Too much time on the ball. Well, the Wanderers number 6. Just feels as though the St. George midfield has really been dominated here. And the press is working so well. St. George really struggling to put passes together. Haddad switches play, and Abdul Rahman, he didn't gamble there. Had he gone forward, I think he could have got onto the end of that ball. Rodic turns and Plays it wide for Kalajeru. Vidakovic plays it forward. Offside though, Peacock. Here's Suris, forward for right. In front of him, Antonio Danascos making the overlapping run. Falls back to Suris. Just really making it difficult for St. George to play through them. Sunday Yona looking to create something, and he got away from his marker but couldn't find a player in the box. Straight into the hands of Vidakovic. Hollingdale under a bit of pressure here. It just seemed as though St. George reacted a little too slow there to Hollingdale being caught in possession. They probably should have taken better advantage of that. St. George. Here's tilt now for Hollingdale. Nice pass from Cameron to find Hollingdale. Kept the ball well in his first half hour, the Western Sydney Wanderers. Cameron flicks it on. Haddad for Abdul Rahman, who can now run at Sito. Cuts back, and Danascos came to help. Another corner for the Wanderers. Only their second of the game. It looks so dangerous in transition, this young Wanderers team. Can they make it three, extend their lead further? Corner comes in, but wasn't actually a too bad ball to the back post, but there was no one there making that far post run. And Siren not really in trouble. Danascos back for Sito. Danascos hasn't got forward as much as he usually likes either. As I said, it's not a real characteristic game from the home team. Antonio, poor pass, sums up the first half for St. George. Intercepted well there by Suris, and they get possession. Again, another wasted ball from Pat O'Shea, who generally doesn't cough up possession that easily, usually Mr. Reliable. Vidakovic, the ball wide for Cameron. Danascos gets the block in, but the ball will remain with the visitors. Throw in taken by Cameron. High foot there by Hollingdale. Cheap giveaway from the Wanderers. Gives St. George an opportunity to create something from a set piece. Take it early, but Geha said they had to wait for the whistle. Antonio stands over it. O'Shea getting into the area. Yona asking for the ball to be delivered into the box. I'll go short here to Sudis though. Now Danaskos. Back to Sudis. Rodic. Under pressure, had to play it out wide to Kalajeru. Now Yona combining with Kalajeru. All the way back to Rodic, and from the position they were in from that set piece, St. George has been forced to start all the way back. They've given it away there again. Good touch from Abdul Rahman. Sito had to be strong, and he was, and could that create an opportunity now for St. George? It's Wright, cuts in and just lost his footing there at the vital moment, Caden Wright. But 3 white jerseys were around him so quickly. But even in that situation, Wright just needs to react a little faster. He's got the quality to do so, as Peacock now goes the other way, looking to find Abdul Rahman early, and mistake there from Sito. Drop back for Hollingdale. Wide for Cameron. Danaskos, important challenge. Hollingdale with the ball again though. Good defending from Wright. Antonio helping out, but Wright can't find the pass. O'Shea sliding in. A few sliding challenges in his first half. Did say it did rain a little prior to kickoff. Siren wide for Rodic. Sito now inside the last 10 minutes of the first half. I feel as though St. George need a goal just to raise their spirits and their confidence a little. Expect a reaction from them in the second half. Yona trying to steal in there. But again, the Wanderers just dealing with all this pressure with no problem. Peacock goes down a little too easy there. And came in a bit late as well. That ball might work out for Poon there, it seemed for a moment. Vilakovic sends it forward. Sito wins the header. Haddad fouled by Sudis. Kicks the ball away as well. Unnecessary from Sudis. Here's Barry. Hillier received that yellow card early on. Ball back here for Tilt, and again you can hear St. George players calling for the press, but it doesn't seem as though anyone's moving forward, and not moving forward together anyway. Abdul Rahman back for Cameron. Now Hollingdale. Tough pass, Yona intercepts and tried to play it through the legs of Hollingdale, but loses possession. And now Barry comfortably gets away from Yona, who unnecessarily fouls there as well. A silly foul on Hollingdale. Wasn't really going in a dangerous direction, could have stood off the midfielder. Instead brought him down. Over eager to win the ball back, but also lots of discipline there. And now the Wanderers can come forward again. Simmons, I think it is. Great challenge from Mark Rodic. Perfect tackle. They're the sort of tackles that lift your teammates. Perfect challenge. They're those ones you love, where you first take the ball and whatever else comes with it. Mark Rodic, always good for one of those, or two. As Danaskos looks to lead an attack here for the home team. He's right, stayed on side. Momentum is somewhat stopped though with the pass there from Danaskos. He's Soris centrally for O'Shea. Kalajeru. They set up so well, the Wanderers. They've been tough to break down, but they might get a chance here. Good combination between Danaskos and Wright. Cameron did well to get back, and Wright almost found the pass for Danaskos. Good defending from Lachlan Tilt to avoid the corner. It would just be a throw. Sito for Rodic. Danaskos on the left. Looks for the pass, finds Antonio. That'll be a corner. Get their second of the evening, St. George. Perhaps a chance with the clock ticking toward half-time to halve the deficit. Goes short here for Yona. Another wasted set piece, but it might still work out. Wright is offside. Another chance wasted by the home team. Had the free kick earlier, also went short. The Wanderers do look a taller team, more imposing. Maybe that's why St. George attempting to try and play the ball around rather than go direct into the box. Header one there by O'Shea. Antonio drops it for Caden Wright. Wright reacted well enough to win the throw. Here's Rodic. Ball played forward for Yona, but offside. You could see it straight away. Free kick sent forward. Kalajeru heads it away. And does Suris. Yona's there now. Back for Rodic. I should say St. George was one of the most impressive sides I've seen this year, but definitely haven't shown any of that this evening. Sito gets away from a couple, still continues his run. Jaden Sito in the end closed down. Into the back there from Hollingdale, taken early by Wright, and now gets it back from Antonio, plays it off to Danaskos. Strong challenge and wins the throw as well. Fantastic challenge there from Riley Hollingdale. Been influential in this first half, the Wanderers midfielder. Sito back to Siren. Yona. Looking for Kalajeru. St. George managed to keep possession. Searching for Yona, who turns away from Simmons. Now central for Poon. Been quiet the last couple of moments. Justin Poon. Can he win his team a corner at least? He does. Taking it short again. Antonio delivers toward the far post. Offside flags raised though again. Been a few of those for both sides in this first half. Vidakovic will take the goal kick for the visitors. Danaskos wins the header. Right helps it on, but no one there in the red jersey. O'Shea picks it up. Now right again. Is this the chance for St. George? Yona in a good area. Plays it forward. He was looking for Antonio, but too close to Vidakovic. And we'll move into first half stoppage time now. Only 1 minute of time added on. Cito, good header. Again, though, second ball, no reaction, and Poon there reacted well. Gets beyond two now. And now Poon getting into the box. Poon across goal. Great challenge from Lachlan Tilt. Bay Antonio was there for the tap in. And Lachlan Tilt made sure he made the challenge. Cleared the ball away. Best chance of the first half, really, that one for St. George coming in. First half stoppage time. You look in the grandstand and there's a whole bunch of injured St. George players. And you sort of feel for St. George coach Fabio Micheli. They've had to go through it. But again, a lot of teams are going through the same problems in the competition. Mostly teams have got 2 or 3 injuries, but others are plethora. Sutherland Sharks, one of those. Even the league leaders have a number of injuries. Marconi Stallions. Here's Antonio coming deep to pick the ball up. There's not much more time left. Danaskos might be the last chance of the half. He's right in the area, turns away, gets back on the right. Caden Wright, I thought he'd scored there. How that ball didn't go in. Tristan Vidakovic with a great save. It looked as though the ball was in the back of the net. The last opportunity of the first half. And the Wanderers will go into the break leading by 2-0. 2 quick-fire goals in the space of 3 minutes. Put them in a very, very good position going into the break. Richie Cardozo will be very impressed with his side's first half performance. Fabio Micheli and St. George, a lot of work to do in the second 45. The score was opened by Alat Abdul Rahman. Edmund Haddad then 3 minutes later made it 2. And after the first 45 minutes, you're at Barton Park. It's St. George 0 and the Western Sydney Wanderers 2. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Barton Park. It's St. George that are down by 2-0. Doesn't look as though they've made any changes at the break, but it looks as though Western Sydney Wanderers have. Luka Knežević is on. I'm not sure who's come off. So there could be 2 changes actually at the break. So I think Nathan Barry just changed his boots. Under pressure early. Now Knežević looking to receive the ball early, and they have made 2 changes actually, because Meliwethu and Como has come on as well. So double change for Richie Cardozo at half time. They are up 2-0. Aiden Simmons has come off. Danaskos delivers into the box and Como clears. Antonio looking to flick the ball on. O'Shea back for right. Thought about the shot, spreads it wide for Kalajeru. Knežević straight into the feet of the opposition. And Kalajeru gets around him, and Knežević fouls Kalajeru. Ball given away in the middle of the park, and St. George won't be happy with that call. I think it's Saxon Hillier that's come off. Aiden Simmons definitely has been replaced for the Wanderers, and I think it's Saxon Hillier the other. And again, risky there from Vidakovic. Got away with it. Rodic battling away with Abdul Rahman, and the foul goes the way of the Wanderers. Rodic and Abdul Rahman having words. Abdul Rahman scoring the opener. It's been a game with a few big challenges as Peacock tries to get around Sito. They've given the ball away. Sito reacted well there. And Yona and Poon getting in each other's way. And that's a yellow card for Hollingdale. Stop the counter attack. Riley Hollingdale was one of the best players in the first half for the visitors. How will Fabio Micheli's team react in this second half? I haven't been in this situation too many times this season. Sito back to Mackenzie Siren. Siren looking for Poon, and Como heads away. Here's Hollingdale. Given away there cheaply by Badolato, and now Antonio looking to release Yona. Vidakovic thought about coming, retreats, Poon! Oh, and it's just wide of the top target. Was looking for the top corner was Justin Poon. His effort not too far away, but much better and more encouraging from St. George. Vidakovic plays it forward toward Abdul Rahman, and header well won by Rodic, but straight into the feet of Haddad, who gets beyond Sito, and now Haddad runs forward. O'Shea back to support Badolato, wide to Nkomo. Cross comes in, good ball, headed away by Danaskos, and Knežević might take the corner here. Shields the ball well. Holding down, hands on heads. Obviously, they worked out corner routine. Cross comes in toward the near post. Antonio heads away, but not completely out. The ball back in from Badolato, wide of the target. Two games happening as we speak. This one and on the Northern Beaches at Cromer Park. Great ball from Rodic to find Sunday Yona. Now Poon. Poon spreads it wide. Hayden Simmons is still on. Jesse Cameron's come off. And Saxon Hillier. Jesse Cameron and Saxon Hillier, the two withdrawn by Richie Cardozo. Simmons has just gone to the right side from left back. Siren sends this one forward. Out of there by Simmons. Danaskos. Yona loses out. Antonio came to help out, but couldn't win the ball. Here's Knežević. Good pass forward for Nkomo, who takes it in his stride. Another delightful cross from Nkomo, but Peacock couldn't get purchase on the shot. Delightful ball from Nkomo. He's putting two into the area already that have really caused the Western Sydney Wanderers defence, St. George defence some problems. Nathan Barry went down there after the challenge from Yona. Didn't look as though there was a head collision, but hard to tell from live viewing. Receiving assistance now is Barry. Still down, Barry. Slowly getting to his feet now. Wasn't a free kick, so it'll have to be a drop ball. There's confusion about what's going to happen here. Will Knežević give the ball back or keep possession for the Wanderers? Knežević plays it back to Tilt. He's pulling down now. Back for Vidakovic, who's been very confident with his feet this evening. And that ball over the top means Siren has to rush out of his area and clear away. Yona coming back off an offside position. Flag raised here on the near side. As I was saying, one other game already kicked off in round 14 at Cromer Park. Rockdale lead by 1-0, but Ali Ugla saw red in the 36th minute. They'll have to do it with 10 in the remaining 45, Rockdale. Great challenge again from Mark Rodic. Perfect timing. You could hear the ball as well in that tackle. St. George unhappy with that call. Chabel Geha was in a good position to make that call. From here it may have looked as though it was a St. George throw, but the referee in a much better position. Rodic got bowled there by the bounce. Here's Nkomo, being dangerous when coming forward. Knežević. Now Hollingdale. Back into the feet of Knežević. Great turn from Knežević to get away from Suris. Tried to play in the pass as well for Abdul Rahman, and that one just wide. Neat turn from Knežević as the rain starts to fall here. It's very light, but still, this one will just sit on the top of the surface and will really make the ball zip here at Barton Park. Rodic. Poon. Jonas moved more centrally now, and Poon out to the right. But Jonas struggling with the physicality of both Barry and Tilt. Foul against Hollingdale. Chabel Geha just telling Hollingdale to be careful. He's on a yellow card. With the rain, it's got significantly colder here as well at Barton Park. Great turn from right, but last touch let him down. Well read by Sito. Such a good young defender, Jaden Sito. Almost turned himself into trouble there. Rodic forced all the way back to Siren. Rodic playing it forward toward Yona. Right for Poon. Poon driving now for Antonio. Bay Antonio looking for Yona. Important header away from Simmons. And now Poon with a chance to drive that goal. And Como got lots of pace on him. Poon goes for goal. That was a well-struck effort there from Justin Poon. But also well held by Tristan Vidakovic. Peacock getting a mouthful there as well for just reacting a little slow. Here's Antonio looking for Yona. First time pass for right, and the run didn't come from Suris. Right expected it, but just held back there, Angela Suris. Well read by Pat O'Shea. Right. And off the ball, foul by Bay Antonio. Pleading his innocence with the referee, but not interested. Abdul Rahman having words with both Danaskos and Rodic. St. George boys will need to ensure they keep their heads. Abdul Rahman is in front. He doesn't care. Results going his way at the moment as Antonio looks to feed in Yona. Save by Vidakovic. Headed away. Danger was still there. They win a corner. St. George does. They'll keep the pressure on. Antonio with a nice ball forward for Sunday, Jona, but it was the pace off the line from Tristan Vidakovic that got Jona there. Cross comes in. Again, can't beat the first defender. And now Haddad already has 1 assist and a goal to his name, driving forward here. Look at the numbers the Wanderers have, but Kalajeru, good recovery. Tough ball back for Siren. Keeper clears. Antonio wins the header. Flicks it on for right. All defended by Aiden Simmons. He's right again. Nice little turn. Finds Antonio. Jona out to Danaskos. Ball cleared away. Strong there from Suras. Had to be. Picks it up again off Kalajeru. O'Shea thought about the shot. Finds the pass. Not a lot of space to work with here for St. George. Antonio has a shot. Has it blocked. And the Wanderers survive there. Much better from the home team, but again, really compact defending from Western Sydney. Very difficult for St. George to play through the defensive line. Jona made the run and it looked as though he's got the wrong side of Nathan Barry. Danaskos, and that's a poor cross for his standards. And he's disappointed with himself as well. That one will bounce through to Mackenzie Siren. Here's Kalajeru. Back for Rodic. Danaskos back for Sito. Poon. Rodic gets it back from his keeper. But look how high Western Sydney are standing here. Really making it difficult for St. George. It's a great touch from Hollingdale. An even better ball to find Haddad. Poor touch though from Haddad. I said it earlier, Riley Hollingdale has been absolutely phenomenal so far this evening. Jona gets fouled off the ball by Barry. And Barry will get a yellow here. Off the ball foul by Nathan Barry. Not sure Chabel Geha saw that, but the assistant referee here on the knee side definitely spotted it. Jona requires attention as well. To his feet, Jona, but I think that'll be his last action of the evening. It is. Matthew Brewster will come on in his place. Something different up top for St. George, and they've given the ball away so cheaply there. That's poor from Fabio Micheli's team. Wanderers look as though they're going back to the bench as well. Double substitution prepped for them. I think Thomas Dunn will be. So Caden Wright came off. Thomas Dunn has come in and Matthew Brewster double change for St. George. Caden Ryan and Sunday Yona off. Thomas Dunn and Matthew Brewster on. And the visitors are preparing a double change themselves. Already made 2 at the break. They'll look to make another 2 now. Danaskos searching for Dunn. Cleared away by Tilt. Peacock loses out there to Cito. Looks as though those changes will come now. Bit of confusion there with the 4th official and Cardozo. It's Noah Peacock coming off. And Edmund Haddad, the scorer of the 2nd goal. Julian Chop comes on. And Dullo Sandy come in. So Julian Chop and Dullo Sandy in place of Noah Peacock and Edmund Haddad. Pass given away there by Rodic. First touch there for Chop. Now Knežević. Luka Knežević just wide of the far post there. Just dug that one out of his feet, did Knežević. Not sure Siren would have got there. Ball played forward toward Dunn, and it's gone over the defence, but across came Barry. Pressure here from Antonio. Cleared away by Tilt. Good header one there by Abdul Rahman. Sandy playing it back to Abdul Rahman, who fouls Cito. Here's Rodic. Pern loses out to Nkomo. Just reacted in time. St. George's momentum has really come to an end at the moment. There's still 22 minutes to go, but they're running out of time now. Brewster gives away possession cheaply. Hollingdale, nice turn. Spreads the ball wide for Knežević, but a poor pass. He's done. Good touch there for Pern. And Pern now with the left. High and wide of the target. Not testing Vidakovic with that effort. Looks as though the rain stopped now. I said it was very light, but this means it's sitting on the top of the surface now. Super greasy out there. The ball will be absolutely flying. Here's Vidakovic. Oh, that's that poor ball by the keeper. And O'Shea just couldn't sort his feet out in time. It came at him quite quickly. With good ask of Pat O'Shea. And again, Vidakovic not with the best clearance. 2 in a row. Suris for Danaskos. Wide here for the substitute. Matthew Brewster. Skips past one, but gives the ball straight into the feet of Abdul Rahman, who will run now at Jaden Cito. But good defending, and I wouldn't be surprised here if Abdul Rahman got a yellow card. He'll get away with it. definitely, I think the next one, he'll earn himself in the referee's notebook. And Dunn there gives away the ball. Sort of sums up St. George's evening. Sandy, he gives it away as well. Both teams now, it's not really keeping possession and giving the ball away rather easily. Here's the Naskos, back for Cito. Sudis back to Siren. Now Siren searching for Brewster. Simmons will put him under Brewster will put Simmons under pressure now. Central pass to Barry, who swiped at that one. Well, the neutral wants a goal here to make this one interesting. He's done. Can't get the ball out. Falls for Antonio. Bay Antonio. Saved by Vidakovic. It was a tough one for Bay Antonio to really test Tristan Vidakovic with. Manly United have equalised against Rockdale. It's now 1-1 at Cromer Park as Abdul Rahman tries to get there. So did Chop. That'll go out for a throw. It does. Siren was sprinting across to try and avoid the corner. Taking their time here are the Wanderers. Intelligently eating at the clock. Here's Abdul Rahman. Danaskos gets it out to Dunn. Dunn all the way back to Siren, and Danaskos not happy with that. Wanted the ball played forward, and they need it to go forward if they want to create an opportunity to get themselves back into the game. And the way things are going at the moment, St. George have only really created chances from Wanderers' mistakes, which is very uncharacteristic for them. A side that plays free-flowing football has struggled to get themselves going. Can Poon do something here now? Back for Antonio, gets in the area, flicks it forward. Kalajeru, good challenge. Poon in the box, goes down. No foul. Como asking for a card for diving. And Knežević looking for Abdul Rahman, but Siren out again. Sweeping well is the St. George keeper. Wasn't a bad idea from Knežević. Saw the run from Abdul Rahman. Brewster picks up the loose ball there. Cito. Forward flicked on by Danaskos. Sudis looking for Dunn, but a wasted ball again from the home side. Dunn pressing Vidakovic, who's dribbled out there and almost found Sandy. Brewster keeps it in. Cito, back for O'Shea. Sudis spreads it wide here for Poon. Got to hand it to the Wanderers. They really have defended well. considering they've conceded 13 goals in their last 3 games. Today, they've looked fantastic at the back. Rodic back for Siren. Receives it back again off the goalkeeper, and Como read that pass. Strong challenge from Rodic, but falls in the path of Sandy, who's offside. Fortuitous there for the home team. Changes now. Pat O'Shea comes off. The fourth official got the number wrong. He did. Aidan O'Shea comes on in place of Pat O'Shea. I think the fourth official had number 25 up, in fairness. Nice touch there from Aidan O'Shea. Ball forward for Poon, and Como, though, good defending for a moment, but absolutely wrong defending there, trying to shield that ball out the way he was in that position. Antonio from distance. Vidakovic with a fingertip save, denying Bay Antonio. And Richie Cardozo was going to make a change at this corner, but he's decided otherwise. In fact, no, he's making the change. Lachlan Henderson will come on. Riley Hollingdale, who's been phenomenal, comes off. And I'll wait a moment before I finish that sentence. I think it's another corner for St. George. Goal kick, says the assistant referee. And I've got to say, I think Richie Cardozo, well, it's an unwritten law that you don't make a change in a corner. Richie Cardozo did. His team didn't concede, so it doesn't matter. Generally, coaches look to avoid substitutions on set pieces. O'Shea closed down there. Ball still works out for Brewster, who wastes that cross and doesn't find a teammate. Rodic, played forward by O'Shea. Simmons all the way back to Vidakovic, who's been questionable. Some of these passes back. Header flicked on. St. George need a goal. They need it desperately. From Como, done very well slotting in at left back. And now a chance for Sandy to launch this counter. Sito again puts his body in the right place. He defended so well. Intelligent from Jaden Sito, putting his body in between the ball and the opposition player, giving him no option but to push him over. As Antonio, he gets in front of Barry. Is he able to keep this in? He is, but have to settle for a throw. Doesn't even get a corner. Here he is again. Antonio's come alive a little in this second half. Playing with a little niggle as well, from what we understand. And Poon's onside here. Cross goal. Chance is still there, but cleared away. Poon had to find someone in a red jersey there. Oh, and Antonio almost finding the pass for Brewster. Here's Suris, now Rodic. Not the happiest of birthdays for him so far. Poon. O'Shea with the ball over the top four. Kalajeru, but not getting there on that occasion. Ball sent long. Rodic all over the back of Sandy. Missed his hand up and knew it was a foul straight away. Ball forward now for Chop. And Chop plays it out wide to Abdul Rahman, who's crossed his blocked again by Sito. Brewster for Danaskos inside the final 10 minutes, and time is starting to run out now for St. George. Danaskos lifts that one over the top, something to deal with for the substitute Henderson. Abdul Rahman, no foul this time, and look at the space for Knežević, and Sandy held the ball for too long. Poor decision from Dalo Sandy. That pass had to go straight away for Knežević, who's got the pace to get away from the defence as well. Poor decision. That would have settled it for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Knežević made a fantastic run. The pass just didn't come. Now O'Shea. Giving the ball away. Here's Knežević, ball played behind him though. And Como overlapping. And that's a bad tackle from Rodic. Dived in there. He'll be lucky to get away with no yellow card, Mark Rodic, for that one. The yellow card is out. Justifiable card from the referee. Knežević is still down. Flew in there, did Mark Rodic. Unnecessary, perhaps. Afters now as well in the area. Just above the ankle. Looked lively, the substitute since coming on. And his team a free kick in a good position and a yellow card for Mark Rodic. Hobbling there. Here's Knežević. Should be right to continue though. Doesn't have to come off because Rodic received the yellow. People in the crowd saying that Knežević has to go off, but he doesn't need to because Rodic was booked. When a player's booked, they're not required to leave the field because the opposition player was booked. Simmons goes direct and Siren dropped it there but recovered. Sends it forward looking for Poon, but well defended by Nathan Barry. Heads the ball back to Vidakovic. Barry. That's a bad tackle from Antonio as well. Clear and obvious foul. Just hasn't really worked today for the home side. And you can see their frustrations. They know they're better than this. Ball goes forward. Kalajeru wins the header. Come off Knežević. Intercepted there by O'Shea. But it'll be a throw for the visitors. He's in Como now. Still 1-1 at Cromer Park between Manly and Rockdale. They've hit the 80th minute there as well. Abdul Rahman. Antonio couldn't find the pass to Soris. Late challenge, and now the chance for Badolato. But Sandy just hasn't really got up with the pace of the game. Corner kick. Apparently the ball left the field of play. Last touch coming off a St. George player. Wanderers get their first corner of the second half, if I'm not mistaken. Delivery toward the far post, and Brewster, very, very risky play there from Matthew Brewster. I've seen those, well, we'll see penalties given for much less than that. Kalajeru releases it early to Poon under pressure from Knežević. He did well. Now Poon running at Nkomo, who's got the better of him so far this second half. Poon twists and turns, and white shirts all around him now. Wins the corner though. And it's now or never for St. George to make this a real nervy finish for Richie Cardozo's team. Antonio will deliver the corner. And easily gathered there by Tristan Vidakovic. And I think that'll be that. That was probably an opportunity that St. George needed to take, with the game just about moving into the final minute of normal time. Poor touch there from Cito, who's been excellent this game. Now O'Shea goes down in midfield, wins the free kick. Here's Cito. Wide for Danaskos. Challenge comes in from Simmons. Throw in for St. George. Fourth official preparing the board to let us know how much time will be added on. Bursting forward now are the Wanderers. Knežević got caught in possession. Still great ball from Nkomo. Sandy finds the pass for Abdul Rahman, who's forced back. Simmons towards Sandy. Knežević will get there and keep it in. Waste some more seconds off the clock. Back for Abdul Rahman. 4 minutes of time will be added on here at Barton Park. 4 minutes away from a massive 3 points for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Here's Sandy. Gets it out to Trop. Great feet from Trop and earns the foul. And a free kick just outside the area. Excellent feet from Julian Trop. And now the Wanderers can settle this in stoppage time with the third and a free kick in a very good position. And I can tell you, here in back play, Knežević is definitely struggling after that challenge from Rodic. And Como stands over this with the left. And Nick Badolato is there as well. I think it may be Como who strikes this. It will be. Goes short to Knežević. Deflected off his own player. And that may have been going in as well. It was a good move from the Wanderers. It was Lachlan Henderson that got in the way of Kneževic's effort. Touched forward, Danaskos can't complete the pass. People start to leave Barton Park. Sito, no options there. Luckily, he got away with it. Poor header from Henderson. And that one, not one to write home about for Bay Antonio. It hasn't been the Wanderers' night. Sorry, it hasn't been St. George's night. Nothing has gone the home side's way. The Wanderers, though, have been excellent, in particular in defence. Real compact and made it super hard for St. George to break him down. Punk would be in, but Barry again, as he has many occasions already this evening, intercepted well. Another corner, 6th of the game for St. George. O'Shea will deliver into the box. Everyone's forward almost for St. George, only Sito stays out. Header drops there for Rodic. Suris can't get there, and now Knežević can launch this counter for the Wanderers. Releases Simmons. Look how many white jerseys there are. And Como now in a good position to sort it all out. He finds the back of the net. A well-taken finish from Meliwethu and Como. In the 94th minute, the Western Sydney Wanderers have won it here at Barton Park. Meliwethu and Como adding the final touch to this one. A well-deserved victory for the visitors. They'll leave Barton Park with a 3-0 win and 3 points in the bag, lifting them off the bottom of the table as they look to begin their climb up and get away from the relegation zone. It was a great ball by Knežević to release Simmons, who then played in Como. And that is full time. A victory on May the 9th, a day for victory for the Western Sydney Wanderers. They break this 3-game losing streak with a 3-0 win over St. George. They open the scoring in the 15th minute through Alat Abdul Rahman. Abdul Rahman then returned the favour that Haddad gave him only 3 minutes earlier, as Edmund Haddad made it 2-0, doubling the advantage. The game was settled in the 94th minute. Substitute Meliwethu and Como sorting the 3-0 victory and making a statement for the visitors. All 3 points will go back to Wanderers Football Park on May the 9th, a day for victory, a day that Richie Cardozo's team will take the 3 points. Full time here at Barton Park. St. George 0, Western Sydney Wanderers 3.